Hi everyone, my name is Elton Pinto and I will be taking you through the training module of search engine marketing. In this training video, we will go through Google Search Ads platform in particular, one of the most popular search marketing platforms used by brands or marketers. Let's quickly go through the topics we will cover in this training module. We will cover what is search engine marketing and its key benefits, what are Google Search Ads and how do they work, Google Search Ads campaign structure, introduction to Google Ads platform with account and campaign creation, multiple ad groups, its importance and benefits, what are text ads, types of ads and structure of a search ad, what are keywords and keyword match types, the various targeting options available to choose your audience in Google Ads and its importance, what is conversion tracking, its importance and working, and last on the list, some of the key metrics that determine performance of search ads. Let's get started by understanding what is search engine marketing or SEM and its benefits. So what is search engine marketing? Search engine marketing is a form of online marketing strategy used by marketers to promote their product or brand higher on the search engine results page. When someone searches for a product or service online through search engines like Google or Yahoo Bing, the top or bottom 3 to 4 search results that show up on the search results page are reserved for search ads. Take for example a student looking to do an arena animation course. He or she will type arena animation courses in Google, a search engine widely used by everyone. They will then come across a search ad within the first 3 to 4 positions in the search results page. An ad symbol is mentioned at the top left hand corner, which denotes it's a paid search ad. In search marketing, the marketer or brand will pay the search engine company, in this case Google, for reserving their ads to show up in these premium positions. However, they will only be charged by Google once the user has clicked on their search ad. Hence, search engine marketing is also commonly referred to as pay-per-click advertising or paid search marketing. Now, the top 3 to 4 positions are considered to be more premium positions compared to the bottom positions or any other listings, as these are viewed first by the user after completing their search online. Hence, higher are the chances of the user clicking on that search result and ending up on the brand's website. Now you may also wonder, what are the other results displayed on the search results page? These are known as organic search results, usually placed in positions between the top and the bottom of search ads. These are free search listings wherein the marketer or brand will not be charged when these show up in the search results page, or in case they are clicked by any user. The topic of organic search will be covered during the topic of SEO in future training sessions. Now let's go through some of the main benefits of search engine marketing. As explained earlier, brands will only be charged if someone clicks their search ad. Hence, they yet get free exposure and brand awareness on search engine even if someone does not click on their ad. People are more commonly using search engines to search for a product online or a solution to a problem they are facing. As per stats, over 93% of online experiences start with a search engine. Hence, being visible in search results means being where the customers are. It also helps reaching more prospects in a short span of time who are actively looking for a product or service similar to what a brand may have to offer. Through SEM, marketers can also list their brand name in the ad. Therefore, a business that has no current visibility or brand recognition can instantly get some attention, increasing the overall brand awareness. Furthermore, search ads can drive more relevant traffic to your website since they appear on the top of the search engine results page and are better viewed compared to organic search results. This ultimately helps in increasing more prospects or sales. Unlike traditional marketing, SEM gives you the option to target people based on a specific location, by age group, by gender, and also by preferred language. One can also create ads in different languages. SEM ad platforms like Google and Yahoo Bing give marketers the opportunity to test the performance of their ads and also measure the results through certain defined metrics that help determine the performance of the ad. Based on the results, marketers can tweak their ads to improve performance and increase or decrease their daily spends based on the available budgets they have. Towards the end of this course, we will explore some of the main targeting options available and key metrics that determine the performance of an ad campaign. Now that you're familiar with the concept of search engine marketing, let's explore Google Search Ads, which is our main topic of learning today. I will introduce you to the various concepts of Google Search Ads and how they function. So, what are Google Search Ads? Simply put, Google Search Ads are the ads that appear on the Google search results page at the premium top or bottom positions that are reserved for ads. As per stats, 90% of users prefer Google search engine compared to any other search engine, hence making it a preferred platform or medium for advertising products or services online. In order for brands to show their search ad on Google, they will need to first sign up to Google Ads, a web-based platform, and create an account which is usually free of cost. Brands need to go to ads.google.com. They can sign in using their own Gmail ID and password, and then will have access to the Google Ads interface. The Google Ads platform was originally known as Google AdWords and was started in the year 2000. It has been constantly evolving to make ads more relevant and customized, keeping up with the current search trends and ultimately improving the end user experience. Now let's go through a slightly detailed working of how an ad shows up in Google and various stages that a user goes through. We will also go through some important campaign terminologies used. We already know that once a user enters his search query in Google, relevant search ads are displayed on the top of the search results page. However, it's important to note that here a keyword is responsible for the search ad to show up and not the actual search query entered by the user. Keywords relevant to the product a brand offers, for example, animation course, are added to the Google Ads platform and are linked to a text ad describing the same. So as soon as the user completes their search query in Google using terms like animation course or animation training, the ads platform searches for the keyword that is matching or related to the search query. The matching keyword then triggers the text ad that's linked to show. The user then clicks on the text ad relevant to him and lands to the brand's web page, also known as a website landing page. They can receive more information related to the product or service they were searching for on this landing page. Hence, marketers need to make sure there is relevancy among the keywords text ads and the landing page entered in the Google Ads platform. Any form of irrelevancy or mismatch between the keyword and the text ad can lead to the ad not being clicked as it is not relevant to the end user. Furthermore, not enough content or information on the landing page related to the user's search query may lead the user to bounce off the site, not being able to find what they were actually looking for. Hence, to summarize the terminologies used, a search term is a word or group of words entered by the user in the search engine, and keyword is the word entered in Google Ads platform that triggers a text ad to show up when it matches to the search term. Hence, search query and a keyword is not the same. Here the search term is entered by the user and the keyword is added to Google Ads platform by the brand or marketer. Text ads are the ads that show up once a user has completed a search query, briefly describing or promoting a brand's website or service. And finally, a landing page is the web page a user arrives at once they click the text ad. Now, this completes our topic on the introduction to search ads and how they function. Before we move on to our next topic, let's quickly revisit the AIDA marketing funnel and its relation to search ads. If you remember, the AIDA funnel was explained in the training video of Principles of Marketing. The funnel explains customer behavior from the awareness stage all the way down to the action stage, which is the actual purchase or sign up. Now, irrespective of which phase the user or customer is in the overall marketing funnel, brands can target each of these customers and promote their ad depending on the search terms they enter in Google search engine. Let's go through the different stages of this funnel with examples on how users are searching at each of these stages. A user at the top of the funnel, that is the awareness stage, is not really looking to buy a product or a service. They may just be looking for answers and not really sure what they want. Take, for example, a student searching for careers in animation and VFX may just want to know the available career options in animation and VFX, not or may be interested to do a course. Note that such users might end up making a purchase further down the line, but we don't really know of when that might happen. Hence, it's important that marketers target and build awareness among such a user by engaging them to click their ad and the website. Marketers can also use other popular digital marketing strategies like display marketing, where they show users banner ads or tutorial videos when they browse on other sites, hence keeping users engaged with the brand. The middle of the funnel users, that is the interest and desire stages, also known as the consideration phase, denotes users who have made up their mind and are more serious as they move towards a buying decision. This can be seen by the way they enter their search query. For example, a search term like Learn Animation and VFX and Best Animation Training Institute are more specific and mostly denote that the user is interested to do a course in animation and VFX, or maybe looking for the best institute where they can learn about animation. Such users are researching for the best available option to finally decide to enroll. For users at the middle stage funnel, brands need to establish a strong presence by showing ads which are more relevant to the user and highlighting benefits of why users should choose their brand. Now, the bottom of the funnel users, that is the action stage, are those users who are ready to purchase or sign up. They have completed all the research that was needed and now have selected the brand they want to associate with or purchase from. Such users will typically search with the brand name when entering their search query in Google, like in search term examples, arena animation courses. Hence, it's crucial that brands show ads when someone searches with their brand name. These search term examples collectively denote the different stages from awareness to action that the user goes through in a purchase cycle. Using this funnel, brands can group their users depending on how they are searching for a certain product online. Accordingly, they can create the best strategies or ads to serve the right messages to the right people at the right time. Moving on to the next topic, let's look at the campaign structure for Google search ads. It's important to understand the different components that make up the structure. We will go through each of these components more in details later on. As explained previously, in order to promote search ads on Google, brands will need to first create a Google Ads account. This is the first level of the campaign structure. It is a best practice to create multiple ad groups in case brands have more than one website domain. Up to 50 ad accounts can be created under one master ad account or an email ID. Billing information and other login credentials can be accessed at the account level. Now, under a single account, ad campaigns are created. Multiple campaigns can be created in case brands have multiple products which are not closely related to each other and are part of a broader category. Up to 10,000 ad campaigns can be created under one ad account. Budget and location targeting settings are available at this campaign level. Further, under one ad campaign, single or multiple ad groups can be created. Multiple ad groups are created when the advertiser offers multiple products that belong to a similar category. We will understand why it's important to have multiple ad groups next when we go through a live example of creating an ad group in the Google Ads platform. Further, under each ad group are the keywords, text ad, and a landing page, which are all linked to each other. Now we already know what keywords, ads, and landing pages are. We will go through them in detail later on. As per best practices, one should create a maximum of 15 to 20 keywords and 3 text ads per ad group. This helps to manage campaigns better and avoid the unnecessary clutter. However, it's also interesting to know that Google allows up to 20,000 ad groups per campaign and 50 text ads per ad group. There is no limit to the number of keywords you can add per ad. Now that we have understood the search ad structure, let's visit the Google Ads platform and learn how to create the different aspects that we just went through on the ads platform. Once we sign into Google Ads, click on Create Google Ads Account. Now there are a few things that we can select and add like goal, keywords, ads, etc. at the account creation stage itself through this guided tour. However, for easy understanding, we will just learn how to create an account now. We will add the other elements later on after we have set up the account. So we click on switch to export mode, and then we can directly select create an account without a campaign. Next, we confirm the billing information, click submit, and there you go, our account is now created. Now, clicking on explore your account will take us to Google Ads account, the interface where we can set up the other campaign. So we click on create a new campaign. Here we can choose the campaign objectives like drive more sales, generate leads, get more traffic to the website, brand awareness, etc. Let's select leads as a goal as a campaign objective. Next, we come to the type of campaign. From search, Google also offers other types of ads like display, shopping ads, video ads, etc. to the same ad platform. So let's click on search as a campaign type since we are covering search ads today. Next, we need to select the type of action the user would perform that would complete the goal of the campaign. So we will select website clicks as the way we want to reach our goal of generating leads by users filling up the inquiry form once on the website. Now click on create a conversion action. So a conversion action is required as we want to track the users that fill up the inquiry form once they are on the website. And a conversion action named website lead shows up here automatically based on the campaign goal we selected earlier. We will learn more about conversion action and how to implement a tracking code in detail towards the end of the session. So let's click on continue for now. The next screen takes us to where we can name our campaign. So let's name the campaign Arena Animation Lead Gen. Next, we uncheck the display network option as we want our ads only to appear on the Google search engine results pages and not on any other websites that users might be browsing on. We will keep Google search partners enabled since these are other search engines like YouTube, Amazon.com that are partnered with Google, where our ads could also show up in their search results pages. So next we select the locations we would like to target or exclude from our campaign. We can select an entire country or city or even a specific location. So let's select Mumbai as the targeted location. Next, we can also target and show ads to users selected a preferred language. Let's keep English selected here. Any user who has selected any other language apart from English as his preferred language will not see our ad. So now let's add an amount we can spend daily on this campaign. So let's keep it to 500 for now. Under bidding options, select conversions as our focus is to get more users to fill up the inquiry form online. So we can skip ad extensions for now. We can add them on later when we learn more about ads and their structure. So click on save and continue. And our campaign is now created. Now let's move on to creating the ad groups. Let's select standard text ad as the ad group type. So we can add or enter an ad group name such as animation. Now the platform here will suggest keywords since we entered our website landing page URL earlier. We can go ahead with the suggested keywords. However, sometimes they may be too broad or irrelevant. So let's remove them and also enter a few keywords like learn animation and animation training. Okay, so I've copied that. I'll just copy them back here. Paste them back here, sorry. Now let's add another ad group for gaming by clicking on create a new ad group here. So you may ask, why do we need another ad group for gaming? Why create one ad group for all the course types and add the keywords to that ad group? Well, let me explain this with an example. Well, the main reason for having multiple ad groups is so that we can group ads based on a single theme of keywords. This will help to maintain the relevancy between the keywords and the ads that are mapped to the ad group. We always want our keywords to match our ads as specifically as possible, and also due to the character limitations for writing ads, we also cannot emphasize all our courses in one particular ad copy. We know Arena Animation offers different courses for animation, gaming, VFX, etc. If we create a separate ad group for animation with all the animation related keywords mapped there, and also the text ad created states about animation, the ad will be much more relevant to the user who is searching for animation related terms. hence a higher possibility of the user clicking on the search ad landing to the website. Similarly, a gaming ad group when created with all the gaming related keywords and ads mapped to this ad group, the ads will be more relevant for someone looking for gaming related terms. However, if we just had one common ad group where all animation gaming related keywords are mapped along with the animation and gaming related ads, there is a high possibility that a gaming related ad may show up for an animation related search query. Hence, a very low possibility of the user clicking on the ad, as this is not what they were searching for in the first place. Here, the ads platform does not know which ad to show and would randomly show any ad that is mapped to that ad group. Usually, the ad which has received the most clicks in the past is the one that is randomly shown. It's also a best practice to create ad groups themes based on the structure of how different products that we want to promote are listed on our website. Going through the Arena Animation website, we see the different courses like animation, VFX, gaming, web and graphics, etc. listed separately into categories. Each course has a different landing specifically. Hence, we can create ad groups for the different course categories too in this similar pattern. We can then add related keywords and ads to this ad groups created and have users land to the specific course landing page which is more relevant to them. Brands can also benefit by creating a separate ad group for their own brand keywords or competitor keywords. This will help to track performance of these ad groups individually and also understand how users are searching for their competitors online. Brand keywords are those keywords which have their own brand name mentioned in them, and competitor keywords are those which have the names of the competitor mentioned in them. Hence, to summarize, multiple ad groups have a better keyword to ad relevancy, and it helps brands who have multiple product offering to showcase their products specifically, and it also helps to track performance of the ad groups and manage campaigns even better. So getting back to the ads platform, let's proceed with creating a gaming ad group. Click on create new ad group and let's name the ad group as gaming. Next, we can add the website landing page that is related to gaming specifically. So I have copied it here. So let me paste the URL. Then we click on get keywords. Let's keep the keywords relevant to gaming courses and remove broad or the irrelevant terms from the suggested ones. We can also add a few other keywords like game design courses and game design programming courses. So let me copy that here, paste that here, Ami. Now we can further add more ad groups by clicking on add new ad group for other courses that we want to promote if required. For now, let's just leave it to 2 ad groups. So let's click on save and continue. And our ad groups creation has been completed. Next, let's move on to how to create text ads, the final aspect of the search ad structure. Before we create ads, let's understand the anatomy of a text ad and the types of text ads we can create. So this is how a Google search text ad looks like. It consists of up to 3 headlines, a display URL, and 2 short description text. The display URL is the website domain or the home page URL shown at the top of the ads near the ad symbol. It is directly pulled by the platform to show up on ads from the actual landing page URL we enter. Note that display URL is not the same as the actual landing page URL that the users land to once they click on the ad. Now below the display URL, we have the headlines, which stand out in the ad and grab the attention of the user when they see the ad. Hence, they must be very compelling and relevant to what the user is searching for. We can have up to 3 headlines per text ad. Below the headline, we have the description text, where we can highlight more about the product or service we are offering, including a few benefits. So it's best practice to also include a call to action here, like inquire now or contact us today. Well, a call to action refers to the action you want users to take once they land on your website. We can have up to 2 different description texts added in total. And ad extensions and site links are also part of the ad. And if added, they can improve the quality of the ad and make it more appealing. There are various types of ad extensions, like extensions, which is used in the example here. Using callout extensions, we can highlight the benefits of the products. For example, here we see industry leader, workshops, and industry visits which makes the ad actually more appealing. Site links are also part of ad extensions. These are additional web page links in the ad, wherein if the user decides to click on this link, they will directly land to that particular page of the website. For example, it could be the contact us page or course category pages like the one in the example. The site link is different from the actual landing page link that the user would land to if they had clicked on the rest of the ad instead. Now, there are certain character limitations for the headlines and description text, including in between spaces. So, headlines cannot have more than 30 characters, and the description text cannot have more than 90 characters each. Now, let's move on to another type of text ad, that is the responsive search ad. Responsive search ads appear same as a standard text ad to the user. However, we have the added advantage to add more headlines and description lines than the permissible limit explained earlier. So we can add up to 15 headlines and 4 description text. The ads platform, they will then automatically test different combinations and learn which combination performs best over time, and show users the headlines and description text which are more related to their search term, making the ad more relevant to the end user and most likely clickable. The more headlines and descriptions added, the more opportunities the platform has to serve ads that are more closely related to the user search query. Now let's get back to creating a text ad in the ads platform. We will create an ad. We will create an ad for the animation ad group created earlier. So the final URL is already populated since we entered it earlier while creating the ad group. Let's quickly add some headlines and description lines. So I have the headlines copied. I'm just going to paste it. Headline 1 and headline 2 and headline 3. Note the character limitations here. So now the display URL can be customized here by adding some words that will show up as part of the display URL. So let's add enter terms like courses in path 1 and animation in part 2. So display URL gives the users a clear idea of the web page they will reach once they've clicked the ad. Then we can move on to adding the description lines. So I have already copied some of the descriptions. So let me paste that in description line 1. Next, description line 2. And then we click on done. And our animation ad is saved. Similarly, here we can also create ads for the other ad groups, that is gaming, by entering headlines, description lines, which is relevant to game. So let's click on cancel for now and then click save and continue. So for each ad group, we should have at least 2 standard text ads and 1 responsive text ad, as it's considered as a best practice. Well, so our basic campaign has been created. So if you can see here on top, it says campaign created and it's ready to be published. So let's click on publish, and once we click on publish, we'll be taken to the main dashboard where we can view all ad groups, text ads, keywords, and the ads we created. We can go to the campaign level by clicking on campaigns on the top here, and by further clicking the links on the left hand side panel, we can view the respective categories. So we can add more keywords, ad groups and campaigns, or remove, modify them by selecting each of these categories. By now we know what keywords are. Let's quickly go through the types of keywords and understand the concepts of keyword match types with examples. So just a recap of what keywords are. Keywords trigger a search ad to show up once it matches with the user's search query. They are words or phrases added to the Google Ads campaign at an ad group level. Now there are different types of keywords. Let's go through them one by one. First being generic keywords. These are keywords that don't have a very specific user intent. For example, keywords like 3D animation or VFX artist. They don't clearly specify if the user wants to do a course. Hence, brands should be very careful when using them in campaigns. Users may never sign up in the near future. Unless brands want to just increase awareness of their product by targeting users in the awareness phase of the buying cycle, which is these are the users from the top of the marketing funnel. If you remember the AIDA marketing funnel we went through earlier in this course. Then the next is brand or competitor keywords. We already went through this in the earlier slide when explaining multiple ad groups. In these examples, the brand name Arena Animation is used as part of the keyword Arena Animation course, and the competitor name GIF Digital is used in the competitor keyword, which is GIF Digital Animation Institute. Brand or competitor keywords are high converting keywords and denote users who are towards the end of the buying funnel, ready to sign up or enroll. Also note that the competitor keywords give brands the advantage to show their own ads to users even if they are searching for their competitor related terms, further increasing brand awareness and getting more prospects. Google allows brands to add competitor keywords in their campaigns. However, it's against the ad policies to include the competitor name anywhere in the text ad copy. It could lead to a disapproval of the ad. Hence, the user is not misled into believing it's a competitor ad in any way. Long tail keywords are keywords with more than 3 or 4 words in them. Although these keywords are low in searches, they have a very specific user intent. Example, the keyword online VFX training course fees. These keywords are also good converting keywords, denoting users who are mostly in the consideration phase of the buying cycle, that is the middle of the funnel users. Location keywords are those keywords that have the name of the location present in them. It could be the name of the city where the brand is offering their service or product. Example, VFX Training Center, Mumbai. Another important category of keywords are negative keywords. I consider this as a separate category as these are not added along with the other keywords to an ad group. Let's see where we can add them in the Google Ads panel. So we click on Keywords section on the left-hand side panel. Under Keywords, we have negative keywords as a subcategory. We click on negative keywords, and then we can add the keyword terms by clicking the plus sign. We can select keywords to be added at the campaign or ad group level, then click Save. So it's best to add general negative keywords like free, download software at the campaign level, so all ad groups under that campaign are covered. So what a negative keyword does is that it will exclude a search ad from showing in the search results page when someone uses the negative word in the search query. For example, if the word free was added as a negative keyword to a campaign and animation courses keyword was part of the ad campaign, it would block the ad from showing up for someone who is searching for free animation courses online. Hence, brands have control to whom they can show their ads to in case users are searching for something not related to the product they are offering. Brands can then filter irrelevant traffic like users who are searching for free animation courses here in case they don't offer free courses. Similarly, adding negative keywords like download and best animation film will also block irrelevant traffic associated with users who wish to download animation film or who are searching for the best animation film. Next, let's learn about the different keyword match types that are available in the ads platform. So what are keyword match types? Keyword match types will help control which searches on Google can trigger the ad. Brands can control whom to show their ads to based on how the search terms are entered in Google. There are basically 4 different match types that one can add to the ads platform. Each match type has its own function and purpose. Let's go through them one by one with examples. The first one is broad match. This is the default match type that all your keywords are assigned to when they are added as is to the campaign. Ads may be shown to users when they search for terms that are closely matching or related to keywords. Even misspellings and same meaning search terms by the user can trigger the ad to show. For example, if we have a keyword like VFX course and someone is searching for study VFX or animation course, they also might see our ad. Moreover, if someone was searching for VFX course syllabus PDF, our ad may show up too, which is not relevant to what we offer. Now we can add a negative keyword like PDF, which would block our ad from showing on such irrelevant searches. However, it's not really possible to collate and add all the negative terms in ways that users could be searching for them. Hence, we have the other 3 match types that can be used to restrict such irrelevant traffic. The next match type is the broad match modifier, which is similar to broad match type. Except that with this match type option, the ad would only show up if the user's search terms match or closely match with the words in the keyword that have a plus sign in front of them. For example, if we had a keyword with plus sign in front of VFX and plus sign in front of course, and someone is searching for VFX and animation course, then our ad would show up as both terms VFX and courses are included in the search terms. If someone searched for VFX artist, then our ad wouldn't show up as the search terms does not contain the word course in them. Here the order in which the search terms are entered does not matter as long as they are matching with the words that have the modifier or plus sign in front of them. Next match type is the phrase match type. With phrase match option, ads may show when users enter a phrase or a close variation of that phrase matching the keyword that is phrase matched. The open quote symbol is used to denote a phrase match keywords. For example, if we had a keyword VFX course that is with the open quotes symbol, and if someone is searching for terms like VFX course for beginners or study VFX course, our ad would show up. However, if someone is searching for VFX online course, our ad might not show up since the order in which the terms are being searched doesn't match our keywords that's phrase matched. The term online is used in between the search term phrase VFX course, hence the ad does not show up. If the online term was used before or after the phrase VFX course, our ad would have showed up. Last match type is the exact match. With exact match type selected, ads may show when users are searching for exact terms or close variations of the exact terms that match with the keyword that is exact match. The square bracket symbol is used on an exact match type of keyword. For example, if we had VFX courses as the keyword, that is with the square bracket symbol, and a user is exactly searching for VFX course or VFX training, then our ad may show up. If someone was searching for VFX Training Institute, our ad would have not shown up in this case. So these were the different match type brands can use to help control which searches on Google they want to show their ads to. Also note, in all the match types, close variants denote searches with the same meaning as the keywords, regardless of spelling or grammar differences between the search terms and the keyword. This completes our Now let's touch upon the important targeting options available for search ads. The Google Ads platform gives brands the opportunity to further target a specific audience or users to whom they want to show their ads to. This helps brands to focus on a certain audience group that they think would be interested in purchasing their product or service, or who live in a certain geographical area, instead of randomly showing ads to a larger group of audience who may not be potential prospects. One of the important targeting options for any ad campaign is setting up a targeting location. With location targeting, we can target the users of a particular geography, like a certain locality, city, or even state or country. Only users who are part of the targeting areas will be able to see our ads in Google. Let's take, for example, a brand like Arena Animation, who has multiple centers in Mumbai, Bangalore, Delhi, etc., can target these cities as part of their targeting, as they only cater to these cities. Adding other cities as part of the targeting where we don't have a center established can bring in traffic for users who may not be likely to travel to another city to do a course. The next targeting option widely used is demographics. The ads platform gives an option to select the targeting audience by their age range, gender, and household income percentage group. For example, a brand like Arena Animation would mostly want to show their ad to students who have completed their higher secondary education, as they would be more interested to venture out looking for vocational training courses when searching online. Hence, they can select the appropriate age range belonging to such category of students and exclude the rest of the age groups ranges from the campaign. Another targeting option is selecting users by a preferred language. One can select multiple language or all languages. Well, it's a best practice to target all languages, as you can reach people who speak more than one language and may search in several languages. Now let's go to these three targeting options one by one in the Google Ads platform. First, to add targeting locations, we need to go to the location option on the left-hand side panel in the ads platform. So you click on locations, then on the edit icon. Here you can add the location you want to target. Just type in the name of the locality, city, state, or even PIN code, and you can choose from the options that show up. Also, you can add locations in bulk if you have a list of cities or locations. So click on add locations in bulk, then enter the list and hit search and select target all cities. Then once done, click save. You can also target a particular radius around a certain location. For example, 2 kilometers around location like Andheri East. You can also exclude a certain area if it's part of a larger targeting area. All you need to do is go to the excluded subcategory under locations. So you click on the edit icon and add the locations you want to exclude. For example, if we are targeting Maharashtra in our campaign and we want to exclude the city Pune from our targeting, we select Pune to exclude and then click on save. Next, to select age group, gender and household income percentage, we need to select demographics on the left hand side panel. Once clicked, we see the subcategories like age, gender and household income. By default, all the age groups, genders and income categories are already enabled. We would just need to disable or exclude the ones we wish to not show our ads to. So click on age, then click on edit or drop down arrow from an age group we wish to exclude, and then select exclude from ad group. It can be a bit tedious to select each one of the groups individually. However, you can use the filter by age option to load the age groups and then select all and then exclude using the edit option here. Similarly, we can do the same for excluding a gender or selecting an house income percentage group that we do not wish to target. Note, for all three types of demographics, we have an unknown to. These are users whose age, gender, or household income haven't been identified by Google. Now, to select a language as a targeting option, we will click on Settings, then click Languages and enter the language you want. So you select the language, example English, and then click Save. So this completes our topic on the different targeting options available for search ads. Next, we move on to an important aspect of search ad, which talks about conversion tracking and its importance. We will go through working and implementation of a conversion tracking tag. In digital marketing, we refer to a conversion as any action that is performed by the user once they visit a brand's website through an online ad. For example, action of filling an inquiry form or purchasing a product online or subscribing to a newsletter. In some cases, a conversion can be referred to as a lead interested to know more about a brand's product or service. In Google Ads, conversions are measured using conversion tracking. So why do we need to track conversions? For any brand or business, it's important to know the value they are receiving in exchange for the advertising costs they incur on campaigns. By tracking conversions, brands can trace back to understand not only which campaigns are driving revenue, also the ad groups and keywords that were responsible for it. Using conversion tracking, brands can also derive the overall return on investment when marketing their product online. They can accordingly tweak the campaign budgets or ad spends. Another important reason of enabling conversion tracking is that it helps the ads platform optimize campaigns automatically for more conversions when smart bidding is enabled, hence reducing the manual effort and time required for brands to manage campaigns and optimize campaigns themselves. Now, the Google Ads platform can only tell us the number of clicks the ad has received, the cost associated with this click, and some other data points. However, what happens after the user has clicked the ad and they land to a brand's website is not really known by Google. Hence, to track the user behavior and the actions they perform on the website, the platform gives the option to place a snippet of code on the brand's website or landing page. The code is also known as a conversion tracking tag. To enable conversion tracking, we need to first create a conversion action in the ads platform. A conversion action is the action users take once they are on the brand's website. Brands can define which type of action is more valuable to them, like the action of filling up a form or making a purchase or downloading an app. According to the conversion action selected, the platform generates a conversion tag. This conversion tracking tag needs to be placed by the respective brands on their landing page. When a user clicks on the ad on Google search, a temporary cookie is placed on their computer or mobile device. When they complete the conversion action defined, the platform recognizes the cookie through the tracking tag added and a conversion is recorded. Let's go through the process of conversion action in the ads platform now. To enable conversion tracking, we need to select Tools and Settings at the top panel. Then click on Conversions. Then we come to the Conversion Action page. Click on the plus sign to create new conversion action. And here we have the different type of conversion actions available. So let's select website since we want to track the user who have submitted the inquiry form online. And select the category as Submit Lead Form. We can name the conversion here as Arena Lead Inquiry Form. Next, let's click on Use the same value for each conversion. Select one for count, so we only record one conversion per user in case of duplicate lead entries. And click on Create and Continue. A conversion action is created and a tag is generated by the platform now. All we need to do is install the code on the website. We can either download the code and install it ourselves if we are skilled to do so, or mail the web developer who will add the same. Once it is added to the website, the platform will start recording conversions. When any user completes the action of filling up the lead inquiry form on the website, the tag will send back data to the platform letting it know to record a conversion. We now come to the last topic of this session, which explains some of the key metrics used to measure the performance of the campaign. We will go through basic definitions of each of these metrics. The first metrics on the list is ad clicks. Clicks are the number of times the search ad was clicked by the user when it appeared on the search results page. It is important to note that if someone clicks on an ad and is unable to reach the website due to a 404 error or due to a network issue, their click will still be recorded. We can also associate clicks across a campaign, ad group, or keyword level to understand how each of these elements are performing. The next performance metrics is impressions. Not going by the literal meaning, impressions in digital marketing refers to the total number of times the ad showed up on the search engine results page, irrespective if the ad was clicked or not. A lower impression count suggests that the ad is not getting enough visibility on the search results page for it to be clicked in the first place. Hence, the ad will first need impressions if we are expecting it to perform. Yet another but important metrics to understand how well we are communicating with searchers is by measuring the click-through rate. This can help determine the relevance and effectiveness of the campaign. Click-through rate or CTR is the percentage calculation of the total number of people who click the ad, that is clicks, by the total number of times the ad showed up, that is impressions. A high CTR percentage indicates that we are targeting the right users, showing them relevant keywords and text ads, hence making them click on our ad. Whereas a low CTR is pointing out that there is some disconnect between the ad and the keyword responsible to trigger the ad. A good click-through rate suggested by Google is somewhere 2% and above. Now coming to the important cost related metrics, which is CPC and CPL. As the name suggests, cost per click or CPC is the amount the marketer or brand pays to Google every time a user clicks on their ad. The cost per click can vary from campaign to campaign, depending on the competitiveness of the ad and type of keyword. For example, own brand keywords have a lower CPC. However, the brand keywords of a competitor would have a higher CPC. Similarly, generic or broad batch term keywords generally tend to have a lower cost per click than the keywords that are exact and phrase matched. Now, what is CPL? Cost per lead is the average cost that is incurred to generate a single lead or a conversion. It is calculated by dividing the total amount spent on the campaign by the total number of leads generated through the campaign. It is also known as cost per conversion. A low cost per conversion would suggest a better return on investment or ROI. CPC and CPL are both important performance metrics and should be tracked to determine the financial success of the campaign. Now, all the performance metrics that we discussed can be found on the Google Ads platform at the keyword, ad group, ad and campaign level as well. All we have to do is click on campaigns, for example, which is on the left hand side panel, and we will be able to view the overall number of clicks, impressions, CTR, CPC, and the total cost for a particular campaign. To add other metrics like conversion and CPL, we just need to click on modify columns option out here. Select these metrics and click on apply. They will show up too in the column section. Similarly, we can view these performance metrics at a keyword or ad level too by going through the respective sections, clicking on the left hand side panel. This brings us to the end of this training session. Hope you all found this video helpful to understand the basic concepts of Google search ads. Until next time, see you and thanks for watching.